Disguised Toast is a Hearthstone live streamer who's been able to grow relatively gradually and successfully over the last couple years, and he did so with intelligent patterns of content development, meaning he made good shit. Basically, he has 3 channels: his Disguised Toast 1, his streaming channel, and Disguised Toast 2. Each one of them has tens of thousands of viewers. Disguised Toast 1 is over 600,000 subs, Disguised Toast 2 is over 400,000, and currently as we're talking, he has about 10,000 viewers watching his live stream. Now let's talk about today how you can use what he did to get to the same growth and rate and size as him. These are the Kublai Khan lecture channels. Thank you for coming by. 8 p.m. every Tuesday. Good to have you here. So let us jump into this. Now, I want to give you guys an analogy on how Disguised Toast developed. Think of yourself as an individual who's just walked upon a beach pier. It's beautiful, it's sunny, it's warm, or it's cool and casual, however you like your piers. And you can see that there's a lot of people, and they're all super excited. And you're looking around, and you're like, oh, there's some cool restaurants around here. I can see a nice little restaurant up there, and I can see off into the corner another really pretty and good-looking restaurant. Now, as you're admiring these restaurants, oh my god, do you see in the corner? Gordon Ramsay's cooking at one of the restaurants. It's amazing. You see, oh, Remy from Ratatouille is cooking at another restaurant. Look at these famous people. Oh my god, the Great British Bake Off victors have our own restaurant here. This is so cool. You, as a person who wishes to cook, as a chef, you're like, oh my god, can I do this too? I want to have the opportunity to have my little chef location working here. Now, as you're doing this, you look for a spot to line up, because you're not famous enough to be at that top spot. So you start looking around and you realize that as you begin to go down the boardwalk, there's a lot of shops, but there's not a lot more people here. But the shops look pretty good and they're impressive, but they're not really getting anybody. You keep going down the pier and you realize the only spot where there's no shop is this place with no people. This is what Disguised Toast found himself in. He was looking around in the Hearthstone pier and was trying to find something that allowed him to make some food, to get some attention. And there was really nobody if he followed the current content trends, which at the time were Let's Play. So, if you're going to be Disguised Toast, what do? Well, you got to think about this, first of all, from this perspective. Let's Play. Nobody's watching. That's one of the things that's really shitty, because as you're in that far corner back there, you're going to be in a position where you're like, oh, well, I guess I can't do this. And then the thing is that nobody cares when you're that far away. It's a problem because as you're making content, it's like, well, why would I watch you? Day9, Kriparian, all these other big Hearthstone streamers exist, and I could just watch them. And then, now, what does Toast do? Turns around, goes running down the boardwalk, shows up back here, and you can see him down on the corner right of the screen. Now, what does Disguised Toast end up doing? He comes with an idea that is not about Let's Play, i.e. not about cooking the same way these guys are cooking. He thinks about, let's show them nutrition facts. Let's tell people about the benefits of the food that they're doing. And that, as you can see once again in the bottom right of the screen, is he creates a store. He creates an example where he's telling people about the food quality, about the lore of the food, what it is, how good is it, and why it is. And the thing is, that's really interesting content. So why did this work? Well, the main reason why this worked is because there was low competition. And what I mean that is, like, people were doing Let's Plays, live streams in that regard, as opposed to doing things that were not cute, let's say, as opposed to doing things that were not teaching, not how to make stuff in regards to what makes a fun character or where the lore of these characters came from. And see, and the other thing related to that, let me back off for a second, and the other thing related to that is that he was also able to do this in a very popular area. There was a lot of interest for Hearthstone. People love the game Hearthstone. And so when everybody's doing tons and tons and tons of Let's Play, and a ton of attention is there, he did the market within the market. We call this a micro niche within live streaming or within YouTube creation. And basically, you find an area that has a lot of attention, and then you go target a very small segment with good SEO. He targeted lore, interactions, or in this analogy, he targeted nutritional facts or information about the food. So when people saw that he was talking about all this interesting food, they're like, man, this is really interesting. We like you telling us about the food, the Hearthstone ingredients for success. And that allowed him to create a smart transition. So think again, you're person on the side of the road, or excuse me, the side of the pier. You have all the Gordon Ramsays and the Remy the Rats from Ratatouille cooking and doing amazing content for everybody that they're eating up. And you go, all right, you teach the people how they got there, what they were doing, and the nutrition. And people go, oh my God, this is really cool. Do you cook? Well, that allowed him to go for this smart transition. Basically, he was able to take the whole YouTube, Twitch thing, and he converted users over to a new channel. I.e., he found a way to do this where you come in on YouTube, checking out those nutritional facts and lore. So literally, he did lore, that kind of thing. And then you go over to Twitch, where he does the actual cooking. So basically, you have the nutritional facts situation, the content that makes Hearthstone interesting, the lores, the interactions, and then you have the actual experience of playing. And he also is able to bring his own ingredients, his own recipes to this experience, and thus brings people in with the YouTube, and then serves them the food over on Twitch. This is known as help content on YouTube and hub content on Twitch. It can be seen as a acquisition funnel. Bring people in with the higher clicked SEO, easy help content, and then have people come in on the Twitch side. So now, a lot of the ways that he does this now specifically is that he actually has his YouTube feed into his Twitch and he feeds it back into his YouTube. And he does this through a let's play best of the week kind of thing where he finds the most interesting games and he puts them there since he's doing so much content. And then he's able to grow on both sides. In fact, though, he's kind of stopped using Disguised Toast 1 because in the end, although it's really useful and cool, it's not as big of a deal anymore. There's not as much SEO hero content that he wants to do or needs to do, and he can survive just focusing on Twitch and going over to YouTube with that extra Twitch content that gets there. So let's demonstrate a little bit. One of the things that I found and really liked about how he did this is if we go ahead and check out his early on stuff. You can see that in his earliest stuff, he's going to be doing things like playing Alex Rodriguez Velestraz. Basically, he's finding interesting moments where the characters will chat to each other. Then you see he does experimenting with Chromagus. That's the far over to the left one. That is another highly clickable thing. But let's see how it says 3 years ago. If we scroll up through this, none of these are Let's Play. The closest you get are things like experiments. The Grand Tournament is weird. Missed lethals, so famous players and mistakes they've made. Examples of BMing, which is really funny at high levels, but also if you note, the amount of time for each one of these videos is very low. A lot of people are saying you have to get those 10 minutes in. Well, he didn't do that. He instead made good content at the length it needed to be. And this allowed him to grow the audience of people seeing them. Basically, the nutrition facts, explaining how the lore is and the food and pieces that get into this. Then he converted people over to his Twitch, where you guys can read some of his chat right there. But this Twitch, I mean, right now, if I look at it, 38,560,550 people have seen and watched his content. He's very popular on Twitch. This is where he had the most of his watch time, the most attention. And after that, he also has a very intelligent process where he's not just a YouTube Twitch guy. He also brings people in about Hearthstone and what are the top meta decks right now. How should you collect or craft stuff? Are you a player who's not spending a ton of money on this game? Well, these are the best cards to craft. What are the pros playing with? How can you get coins really cheaply? He has an intelligent, integrated business where it's using YouTube to bring people in. He keeps them happy and he talks about this experience. Here's the hub content. And then he can also bring people in a text form, something that not as big as the typical process, but something that's a little bit different in that regard. Now, as I go and look back here, he also does stuff that is just funny lifestyle content. He goes into his Twitter video. This is specifically called Instructions on Bottom. He reads the instructions on the bottom, but oh no, what happens when you read instructions on the bottom? The bag breaks and opens up. This is not Hearthstone related, but it's perfect for the content that he's doing here. When you're doing a big business like this, you create this acquisition funnel, this process where you bring people in. This was YouTube for him, and it didn't involve Let's Play. After he brought people in, Then he transferred over to doing Let's Play on Twitch, not on YouTube. So he had this acquisition funnel that brought it to Twitch, and from there he directed it back to YouTube. Now, really, in that process, then he also directs it to his website, and then he also directs it to his Twitter. Each one of these performing a quality that allows you to go from up top, acquisition, bringing in new users, conversion to retention, that's what the hub Twitter content is, and then finishing with, honestly, profit, really, because he's able to convert people to things that were also off these channels. And that is the reason why I absolutely love how Disguised Toast did this. He was able to make content that's interesting, funny, and cool that was not Let's Play, and then transferred into a Let's Play channel and grew through that way. So for you as a viewer, find out what's not Let's Play that works with your channels, grow that way, and then transfer over. It's a great way to do it. So thank you for coming by. There's a Q&A section that is happening right after this, so stick around if you're here watching it live, and if you're not, you can see that Q&A section right here. And if you want to see any more videos, go ahead and click on up there, and we'll talk about that there. See you later. Bye.